Hey guys, welcome back to D&D with Filthy and Friends. What the fuck did we do last episode? It was amazing, I'm sure of it. Let's see. We pissed off the city guard. Almost drowned Dolphidius. Did drown his rat, but to be fair, his rat was crushed to death. Oh no, that would be post-drowning. So presumably it survived the drowning and was crushed to death as being pulled out of the water. No, other way around. They started to go out of the water. It got crushed to death, then he drowned. So I guess it didn't drown. So that's plus.
And even if it didn't drown and get crushed, it would have been electrocuted.
Yeah.
So.
And we made 9 gold. Overall, a success is what I'm getting at. 7 gold. 7 gold. Still a success, but you get the idea. It's been going well. Thaddeus has met the man he's been waiting for all of his life. Someone of similar mindset and similar mannerism. Very exciting. I don't know if we're going to get him back into the party, though, is the problem. Maybe...
When you care, you're dead.
Yeah. I suppose thankfully in this case. But in general, we'll see. So that's, I think, the recap. That's what we accomplished last episode, I believe. When you put it that way, it seems more impressive than experiencing in that moment, doesn't it? But we have a long list of accomplishments when we put it that way from last episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking for Steven. What's happening in the trade quarter?
Our episode begins with a panoramic view across the sun-beaten Desert Valley, and it comes to a slow halt over a very large looming spire that's surrounded by storm clouds, and there is a very slow pitter-patter of rainfall. Our view then comes into the interior of the spire quite rapidly, and we see a beautiful woman with long flowing black hair, and there's a bird on her shoulder that looks to be very large and predatorial. She's wearing shining silver armor emblazoned with strange runes and cutlasses and objects that go all the way down, and there are details of red and a big red cloak that billows behind her, and it's covering like her right arm as well. It's kind of like where the bird is shouldered. She's got the head of an elven lady, and she's like grabbed her aggressively by the hair, and she is dragging her across a drawbridge out into the open rain, and she hurls her onto the floor, and she like waves a signal in the air and says a word that we can't hear over the rainfall, and a large bird hurtles down to the floor and lands. She then reaches down and picks the girl up again and hurls her onto the bird and climbs aboard and begins to fly away.
So
Strange people, the air cultists.
we're clearly going to win because that was super inefficient to throw her on the ground and then have to pick her up again.
Yeah.
They're that inefficient.
No action economy.
Yeah.
We come back to the trade districts where Bereatim and Dolphidius are approaching.
I have two additions.
Sure.
When you've got a second. It's primordial that I wanted to learn. I want a book on primordial languages.
Your horse wanted to learn.
Well, yeah, we're going to learn it together. And I want to make sure that I mention the Shrine of Hendrel Foebreaker, because he is a legendary warrior that we have found down there, and adds to the gravity of the situation.
Absolutely. So he would recognize that name, and he absorbs all the details of that shrine and the events that happened in there from you, and writes that in a separate document about him. But he's kind of been doing this as you go. So each like individual person you talk about, he kind of puts into a separate thing, and he has a book on that for you to study that you can take.
All right. I have more questions, but I'm willing to let my piece go for now.
I think we could. Yeah, let's do these questions.
Sure. Whatever you want, Kevin. Go ahead.
It occurs to me as I recount the tales of our adventures that we did come across a smoke-filled orb, glassy orb. It seemed very dangerous. A ring of death surrounded it, and despite our attempts to throw rocks at it and not hit it, nothing happened from the not hitting of it. We are concerned that it is a powerful artifact or magic item of some kind. We left it behind rather than explode the entire stronghold. Do you have any information or someone that could perhaps accompany us and tell us what this thing is?
So he has like a stern, completely impassive face as he says, "Yes, I see your testing methods are absolute and perfect. I would have done the same myself. I think in order to discover this foul orb's purpose, we'd have to see it and perhaps bring it to some kind of advanced technical user of magics benounced me. I know that Tiarbasil's craftsmanship was legendary and unheard of. Of course, for dwarves, that would be the case. And their traps perhaps even more complex."
So you simultaneously urge me to bring it to you and say that the complex traps around it are likely to kill us.
Life is full of mystery, isn't it, Thaddeus?
Perhaps we can
Moradin will guide us to decide on what to do to conquer this mightiest orb.
Let us pray.
Perhaps we can bring some experts to the orb rather than risk the destruction of the stronghold at its hands.
No wonder you are such a mighty warrior, Thaddeus. Your ideas blossom like the flowers of Moradin's passionate, fiery belly.
Tim, I know Tim's not there, but I just want to put it out there that Tim did not realize this was a sex cult when he started. Yeah. That was not something that he was clued into.
Sure.
Soon you have to consummate your marriage to Moradin.
Both.
Yeah.
I just still like the idea of just an entire temple full of fatty eye.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you want to ask him anything else, Kevin?
I'm poring over my notes right now as the other scenes go on.
There are two lady paladins in the corner. Gina, your outfit is very cute today.
So you guys approach like a common house where...
Thank you. The pants have pockets.
Your beard is looking very nice.
Oh my god, I brought the greatest tuna salad in today for lunch. When do you have time for lunch? These meetings we have are crazy.
We should do a one-off.
Just yes. Just we should. It should be like a day in the life of the Temple of Moradin.
Oh,
I
yes.
would absolutely take part.
And we should invite a guest on and not tell them the idea of what it is, and then they just have to role play naturally in that moment.
I appear to have a split in my pants. I wonder where I could get this mended.
Like
No
that.
actual combat the entire time.
I don't know why I hang out with you people.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it? All right. So what are we doing? In the trade ward?
Yeah, what do you guys want to do? You guys...
Did I find Sniven? I was looking
you-
for Sniven.
You're at the building where you've been told he could be, where they're all staying.
I will walk in and I will yell, Sniven! Sniven, where are you with my money?
Okay. Let's see. Ah, I've got a character sheet to use now. That's nice. See if he hears you. So you walk in and the kind of like receptionist just sort of goes to like greet you like, "Hello, sir," and you like cut them off with Sniven. And they're like, can I help you? And they kind of wave their hands a little
You
bit.
know where Sniven is? He's a goblin with 8,000 gold of my money.
She looks down at her like the thing in front of her. Yes, we do have a guest here. They're upstairs, I think. In
Thank you.
room 4.
You
If
shouldn't
could be a
just
little
tell people
quieter.
that I would never stay here.
Thank
I'll
you
walk
for
up
your
the stairs.
feedback.
I follow, I grimace at her, and I just say, never stay here, and I just keep following after
Resist.
her. Resist.
You see Sniven come barreling out of the room.
Did you buy me my cloak of protection yet?
Tim! Tim! And as he raises his arm, you can see the cloak is billowing from his shoulders.
And it's got Chakolth inscribed on
Never.
it.
Oh, you got it inscribed with my favorite person's name. Thank you so much for doing that for me, Sniven.
Property of Chakolth. Please return to Chakolth if found.
I will feel
Also,
safe.
feel around for
This?
invisible
This is
gloves
for you.
nearby.
Oh, look at it. It matches my boots.
That was beautiful. Full circle. That was
All right.
nice.
Hi, Sniven. It's nice to see you, Sniven. Hope life is treating you well.
Where is Chakolth and Thaddeus?
Chakolth's dead and Thaddeus is finding love.
Dead again? Are you
Ah,
certain this time?
that Chakolth. I love that that's more surprising to you than Thaddeus finding love.
Oh, well, I do wish Thaddeus well. He could do with a bit of tenderness in that cold heart of his.
Really?
Good.
You're gonna go that route? I thought you were gonna say a bit of stiffness in his spine. No? Just
Levin's
funny for
mental?
me? No. Sorry. Go on.
That was even funnier. Anyways.
You have all of the stuff we sent you to buy, Sniven.
Of course.
Oh, well, that's great. Would you like to ride back in the boat with us? Save you some trouble.
That sounds great.
All right, cool.
I've been sailing for such a time.
We'll have the rest of your friends here take the caravans back, and you can ride with us.
Right, you are. And so, do you want it to go like right now?
This is one of those situations where you like meet an old friend and you accidentally invite them to something, and then you're stuck with them. That's what's just happened. Yeah, it would be great if you came with me right now.
So he just goes away and sort of packs all his stuff up and like prepares to follow you to wherever the boat is.
What have I done?
You see, so he passes you the what did you get into by a shield and a cloak, right?
2 cloaks of protection, 1 for Dolphin as well.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
passes you 1 cloak and the shield, and he's wearing the other one at the moment.
He's wearing the other cloak?
Yeah.
You might.
As it turns out, no. Make sure you say, as it turns out, we have a spare bunk in the ship. Make sure you say that too.
So he like gives you like a sly wink and then like unclasps it and like passes it to you. Nothing gets past you, does it, old Tim?
Thank you so much, Sniven. That's wonderful.
Why is this cloak only 2.5 feet long? What if it's...
So it comes off of Sniven at that kind of it's perfectly matched in height and length for him, and then as you put it on you, it immediately grows to be the right length for your stature and form.
Nice, thank you.
Okay. You have all the
The cloak of protection is shield +1. Sweet. And I think we should swing by the Temple of Justice on the way back and maybe pick up Thaddeus as well.
Sure. So I guess we'll say that Kevin, you can do what so you've exchanged all that information. Like if you wanted to go out for an ale, like you suggested, I'm sure after all the storytelling, he'd do that, and you guys can do whatever you want. And then as you come back to the temple, Bereatim and Dolphidius arrive with Sniven in tow.
Okay. I think the only other issue is that this whole delegation was headed to Waterdeep and never made it, and so there might be people here that are still interested in the whereabouts of those folks. In particular, there was a set of manuscripts that were headed down here. I don't remember.
Yeah, so those were from Brulthendar. So I think he's still carrying those because he's gone to Mirabar. But so if you want, you can instruct Brother Tyne to pass on this information about the delegation to the relevant people if you want.
Yep, that would be the thing, because I don't know that they are pseudo-located and captured within the hills.
Yeah, so he can look into like who would need to know that and pass that information on for you. Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Okay, you guys are all, I guess Thaddeus comes out of the temple. You guys are waiting, or you guys arrive and enter, whichever one.
How's our friend?
If I arrive early, I would sit on the steps and wait.
Okay, so that's what you guys will see.
Does Thaddeus look happier than normal? Or maybe sterner than what happened? What is
how
when
dark
you
is the heart?
More inflamed. I have a ruddy glow to my cheeks, and I'm sharpening my hammer.
I'm kind of. Does it calm?
Thaddeus, you sly dog. You've been out on the town, haven't you?
I had a great conversation about things I've killed recently.
Oh, that's what does it for you. That's wonderful. Sometimes I like just having a conversation too. They charge you the same amount though. It's a bit weird.
What are you nattering on about, you fool? There was no charging of anyone.
That's the least believable thing you've ever said to me.
I think you're going to be a great follower of Moradin.
Good.
That's the least believable thing I've ever said to you.
I don't hear him.
But I want to know. I want to know. So when Thaddeus is back around his own order for a little bit, how does that recharge him? Is he even more grumpy and surly than normal? Because that's kind of what it is. Is he happier, or is it like what is the outcome of a recharged Thaddeus?
I get my inspiration back. That's it. I burned that in like the second session, and I've been 27 sessions without inspiration.
That's correct.
It's
rare inspiration.
You can have that if you want. If you want to use that for that, I can agree to that.
I was just going to put another one in that spot so I can have it, or you're saying I would have to burn the one I don't have?
No, you can have another one. If that's what you were trying to do, that's fine.
No, sorry. Next, I think it's probably a combination. I am glad to be around dwarf kind, but also it inflames my wrath at the whole rest of the world for not being sufficiently pious and righteous and
I see.
And dwarfish.
Nice.
So there is in some ways it's heartbreaking to leave that temple, and it makes me angrier at everything else in the world.
Sure. Okay.
Understandable.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to get that mental image of how a day of prayer and talking with other believers of your sect, how that would have recharged him. It's interesting. Okay, cool. So there you are, sitting outside the Temple of Justice here. And
we walk in. What's inside?
Well, you're there with Thaddeus. Oh, sorry. You go back to the other temple now? Okay, so
yeah, we go to the other temple.
I'm sitting at the Temple of Justice waiting for them.
Oh, okay.
And they wander up, I think, on their way to check on Chakolth.
Sorry, I got confused. I thought you were waiting at the temple. Okay, so what time would you say you guys organized to meet back?
I assume evening. Yeah.
What time?
4.
Did you say?
4.
Evening.
4 p.m.
Enough time so we can still find an inn and do all those things.
Okay, so you guys get to the temple. You go back inside, all the way to the room where Chakolth is.
I don't.
Or you don't. Yeah. Tim and Dolphin.
Yep, I will go see Chakolth now.
Okay, so you head inside.
Fucking too.
And you see the earlier brother that Dolphin had spoke to, just sort of writing at the desk. Oh, welcome back. I'm afraid we have bad news. We have no further developments. In fact, but we think that he's in some kind of stasis or perhaps some kind of coma, and we can't figure out how to reverse this. The magical bond has now covered his whole body, and seems to.
Are they saying this? Is this in the room with Chakolth's body?
Yeah.
What type of perception modifier do I have while I'm dead?
Disadvantage.
You can't make any skill checks when you're dead.
Because I want to see if I notice as Chakolth, dead or not, that Tim's stolen my fucking cloak. Like, would that not... You don't think that would get through with whatever's happening to me? Are you sure?
Just... It means you'll be, like...
I am very upset to see Chakolth in this state. He looks unnatural. He doesn't look anything like the Chakolth that I used to know, and I'm gonna go over to him and I'm gonna like get down on my knees right next to him and put my hands gently like around his head, like holding him like a mother to her child, and I'm going to like say just quietly to him, "I love your boots. The great boots.
Presumably I can't
the softest leather. The softest leather that I've ever worn. And I'm really looking forward to wearing them for a long time. I won't forget you, Chakolth."
So, in Chakolth's mind, he's sat in a room, and Thaddeus keeps talking to him about this strange worm and this strange place. And this echoing, haunting voice of Tim's comes over, saying these words at the same time.
And there's just this like primal scream, and like all of Chakolth's emotions in that state, which are pure hatred and rage, are communicated directly to the celestial being, charging him with magical energy right now.
Does he look more peaceful to you now, Dolphidius? He looks more peaceful to me now.
I'm trying to think of how I might be able to perceive that it appears that Chakolth has gone to hell upon dying.
His body almost... It looks like his body might have just twitched, maybe, a little bit.
Just a little ripple of color across the predominant,
look at
almost
that, the power of
totally
my-
white, like cocoon
power of
around
my
him.
love is
Flickers.
Almost enough to revive him. It's too bad that love isn't always enough. You know, if it were always enough, it would be a different world, wouldn't it?
It's not always on time.
It's too bad I didn't come in and share my love with him, too.
You're there with him in thought, at least.
That probably would have...
Forever.
Forever.
Okay.
You know, in some ways that gives me peace for the, 17 weeks of torture that you've inflicted on me. The fact that you will, for eternity, be hearing my voice.
Did Sniven come in with us?
It's up to you whether you invited him in or whether you asked him
Yeah,
to wait.
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll invite him.
Ben was Chakolth's best friend, right?
So I guess after you've gone over and
Paid your respects.
Kick the man while he's down. Sure.
Sniven sort of takes off his backpack and sort of walks over to the side and just very quietly just sort of observes and looks at Chakolth, very slowly pacing kind of side to side. You can see he looks very somber, very sad. And you see that he quietly whispers something to Chakolth. And Chakolth, you in that strange nightmare for a moment, it just goes very, very quiet, and you just hear Sniven's voice saying, "He'll miss you."
Oh.
And then he sort of walks away. And then Thaddeus begins recounting. And the worm was...
Let me tell you about the worm again.
The interior was 20 feet in radius.
His dimensions were enormous.
20 feet in diameter.
Let me cover each centimeter, one pace at a time, starting with the first worm step, followed by the second worm step. Let us start again. And then
the coloration is more gradient than solid. I'm gonna approach Chakolth's body and kind of bow my head and clutch my chest and begin weeping. And that's gonna go on for maybe 10 or 15 seconds. And then I turn around to the rest of the party and reveal that I've just now noticed the dead rat in my pocket. And I'm actually just clutching the rat in my hands, looking down at it and weeping at it. Not really paying any attention to the body in front of me.
Okay.
Amazing.
Clearly, you'll be missed.
Yeah.
Well, what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do, guys?
There are
It's
some
4
corpses that
p.m.
need killing.
It's almost happy hour. Let's go.
We're not gonna sit here doing nothing while our friend's in a coma, right? We gotta save the world.
Speak for yourself. My action for the next 3 days is sit exactly here. I'm done. I need a drink.
All right. Oh, we'll pour one out for a fallen comrade. Good idea. Let's find a bar, Adam.
Okay. Yeah, you can walk back to the common house that you found sort of earlier when you were waiting.
Does Thaddeus maybe nudge us toward a bar near the Shrine of Moradin?
I'd be happy to direct you to some of the best ale I've had in the last 6 months.
I'm all over it. I don't. Absolutely.
Okay.
Sounds like a great idea.
Wait, are you going to embarrass me in front of people?
Thaddeus, I'm Tim. Come on.
While they're arguing and discussing this, I kind of reflecting on Chakolth's death, and I think about maybe the kind of cocoon that's developing over him is maybe a defensive mechanism that he placed in the event of his death so that we couldn't loot his corpse. Given that he was so persistent in doing that in life, maybe he just had that thought ahead of time to stop us from ever taking stuff
It's like
off
a living will.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel so. A dead man switch.
Yeah, exactly. So that just crosses my mind as they're arguing, as I'm thinking about everything that happened today.
That seems like him.
Yeah, I feel like he'd do that.
Yeah.
So, we've got a fallen party member. What is our next course of action? Do we hire some other delinquent scumbag to replace the one we've lost, or?
So where are you when you're having this conversation? Just outside the temple.
In the ale house.
We're at the ale house. Okay.
I assumed that
no, that's fine. Yeah.
That I led you there, and that we were sitting around having drinks and making plans.
Where are we gonna find a delinquent who can levitate and shoot eldritch blasts out of his arms?
That's an excellent point.
It's not gonna be that easy, is it?
Maybe we can find someone who is...
Oh, hold on. I've just looked in the phone book. The Plinth Quarter, delinquents, adventurers, levitate and shoot eldritch blasts from their arms. There you go. It's open. It's open 5 days a week. We've just missed them today, but maybe we could go tomorrow.
That.
Word for word in the. I show Thaddeus the phone book. Word for word.
What is it that you show him?
The town directory that we're reading over, where all the businesses advertise their stuff. What am I rolling?
D100.
D100.
Did you see it's like a piece of parchment where Tim has scribbled down some names, like some strange arrows indicating directions, and then like another column that has like numbers, and it says like open, close, etc.
I imagine just him opening like a phone book and randomly pointing to a line. It's like Pious Plumbing, call us at.
We'll pray for your pipes.
While they're doing this, I'm just drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure we need an exact replacement necessarily. Someone that doesn't lick blood and inhabited by other creatures, perhaps.
Maybe someone who didn't keep turning the lights fucking off. That was a bit irritating, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he had his pluses, but he kept fucking turning the lights off.
Couldn't see a thing. I was wandering around in the dark. I almost fell in a damn pit once, walking in the room.
I know.
I pep up and I go, look at me, I'm Chakolth, and I just go, and I just cover my face and kind of shake my head back and forth.
Okay.
So perhaps someone less dark and horrid.
It's a great idea, and I think we're stuck on only fighter classes at this point in the party. We've got the wizard, the barbarian, and the paladin.
Right, so what are we looking for? You know, we're supposed to steal that orb and bring it back to the my holy order here. Perhaps we could find someone with some sort of dismantling and disarming skills.
It's an excellent idea. Excellent idea. I've always wanted someone who could go out in front of the party and get killed first. Maybe one of them.
Right.
I think they call those rogues.
Lovely idea. Where do you find rogues?
There any rogues here tonight?
Do you want to roll investigation at disadvantage?
I feel like any rogue we get out of this is going to be a terrible rogue.
I feel like this would be a great intro.
Filthy will be playing.
How would your character react?
His character choice.
The worst rogue.
This will be a Roomba rogue, right?
God, let's
I'm
hope
hidden.
not.
I'm hidden.
No, I go, Tim, you got to be stealthy. They're rogues. And I say, rogues! And I kind of whisper shout rogues across the entire bar to see if I can get any attention.
Can you roll perception, Dolphin?
Yeah, oh, I can do that. I'm going to roll a disadvantage because I'm pretty wasted right now after a long day.
You know, we impose our own penalties. How can we make this worse for ourselves? I don't know. Let's catch it on fire and roll at disadvantage.
See? No problem. No problem, though, you know.
So, after you whisper the word rogue and, like, sort of look around, you don't see that anyone is directly, like, coming over to sort of speak to you, but in the corner you can see there's, like, an elf of quite light build wearing a cloak. There's a shield and a crossbow and just a small ale in front of them. And you think for a moment they may have almost just sort of twitched their head as you whispered that word.
I start laughing and I go, rogue, rogue. And I just am kind of like shouting directly at him. I'm pointing. I'm pointing, and I start shaking Tim's shoulder, and I'm looking back and forth.
Oh, look at him! He thinks he's stealthy, doesn't he? He thinks we can't see him there.
I think what a perfect intro for how stealth in this game actually is too. +10 modifier, sure. You get a 3. Everyone sees you. You're fucked. So I will, as they start like pointing attention to me, I will quickly get up and kind of head over to them before like everyone in the room is looking at me because I really don't want the attention of everyone in the room. And I'll.
Some heads are spinning around, but like they're not quite seeing, what's going on.
Yeah, presumably because I'm so stealthy, and
For them.
Yeah.
Hey, their perception's much lower.
Lower than a drunken barbarian covered in rat paste.
Like 24, the numbers they speak for themselves.
Yeah. So I'll come over to the table, and be like, "Oh, shh."
I go,
I don't. Can we make an initiative roll here? Because I think I want to stab him if he's trying to do that. I'd like to do that before he shouts it.
That's absolutely the way we should start this friendship.
Oh yeah, I can roll.
Sure. You guys can roll initiative.
Yeah, we'll get the rest of this shit taken out. Yeah.
They can work it out amongst themselves.
It's making me reload.
I'm going to be
8.
using my perception to evaluate his reaction speed, and which hand he uses, and where I should club him from if it comes necessary.
I would not be hired at the moment. You're like, actually, you know what? You know what? I probably think this goes just fine.
Oh,
And
I've got you nailed, man.
And both Thaddeus and Tim are like, this is exactly what we talked about. Someone to go ahead of the party and get themselves killed. This is what we need. He's passed the test. Spotted by Dolphin, slower than a drunken barbarian, and then easily viewable. You'll know exactly where the attacks come from.
We could give him at least a 1 week trial. He'll probably be dead by the end of that anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
You can just, when you get back to the keep, you send Snibbin down with the orders to recruit another party member. And about the time it works out all right.
Could we argue that Dolphin is surprised?
No, not a fucking chance. No, he did see it coming.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
Oh, I have a feeling this is going to go well. Okay. This is perfect.
So you pull your blade on him? Is that what you said?
No, I'm trying to preempt him shouting, but I don't, because of the way the initiative rolls. He rolls first, and he's just like, "Rogue!" And I'm just like, "Fuck!" And I'm like looking for like somewhere to not be the center of attention as he's yelling this, and I immediately regret my decision of coming over. I'm like, if he had just been pointing and yelling, eventually they would have looked at him. Being here is clearly the worst of the ideas.
I like the +2 on whatever this is.
You see these two gentlemen sat at a table, and they like start talking and pointing at you and like conversing, and like you see them looking like a rogue. Is that like what? Aren't they like people that rob people? You can kind of make out they're maybe talking about, you know, the bad things that a rogue could do.
I go over. Now that's a common misconception. Not all rogues are bad. They can be very valuable for society. They do a lot of good things for people too.
I'm gonna say, sit down, rogue, and you'll look like you're part of the party instead of someone that's stealing from the bar patrons.
And I immediately sit down.
Okay.
Oh, no.
You got some awfully big boots to fill here, rogue. And I put my shoes up on the table.
And they are like 3 sizes too big for Tim. Like, they're very comfortable because Tim just likes the spacious feel and his boots that don't fit very well. Clearly, again, each individually labeled, inscribed with Chakolth's name in it.
I imagine that the boots are just like stuffed with like squirrel skins and rabbit skins, just to kind of like make sure that they fit.
Yeah, there's a buzzard heart in the front of the one to like keep his toe like flush with something, for sure. And I'll say, rather than just blowing my cover, was there something you guys needed? Something you wanted? And I look to Dolphin, but he's basically passed out again. So and Tim's off talking to someone else, so that leaves Thaddeus as my first impression.
And as I'm passed out, I go, orb, 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 orb.
Is your
Sounds sort of like you're saying barb. Barb like that over and over again. Like barbarian.
You can choose to interpret it that way.
That's exactly how I interpret it.
Ignore the barbarian. We've got business to discuss.
We've got orb business. Ignore the barbarian.
What type of business?
We are infiltrating an ancient dwarven stronghold, eliminating the cultists who are trying to take over the world and destroy all of civilization as we know it. And there's things to steal.
What's the downside?
Right here, Thaddeus.
You're almost sure to die. And you'll be forgotten and live out the remainder. Or, worse yet, you'll not die, but one of us will kill you and you'll live forever.
I just go, the whiteness!
I'm a little taken back by this. Not totally sure how to parse all of this. And I'll say, wow, you're brutally honest. I like that in a traveling companion. And I'll attempt to pick his pocket.
Mine or somebody else?
I had to break the other Chakolth's wrist.
Oh, I don't. No, I don't. I actually don't. I don't have sleight of hand. I thought I took sleight of hand. I'm not sure that's a permanent addition. I may have sleight of hand by next time we play. We'll have to sort that out. So, I guess I don't.
Wait, we accidentally like decided that we wanted a rogue, and it turns out that you've already made a rogue.
Yeah.
Well, I said rogue, and
Oh, so you were in on this.
It may have been seeded.
Don't spoil it for the audience. God damn. We spend all this.
No, I was just wondering how a rogue just fucking popped up out of
That
here.
was
That was
nice coincidence, wasn't it?
That was amazing.
Yeah. Yep. So,
I was.
you make an interesting offer. Talk to me about the percentages of such an offer. Presumably, with so much risk on the behalf of a new member to such an adventure, the pay must be very, very good. Must be a lot up front, very high percentage.
All of your money goes into a shared fund from which we buy things that you may get a portion of.
Do like sign-on bonus, cloak of protection, something like that. Nice boots, both.
You'll have to talk to our money manager, the barbarian, when he wakes up. I don't recall who owns what at this point, but you can't have any of my things.
I point to the guy who's passed out on the table over there. I'm like, he's your money manager?
As soon as I hear the word money, I take I kind of have one hand on the table with my arm. I take one of my hands, put it into my one of my pockets, take out a piece of gold, put it on the table, and slide it towards him.
It's making a bit more sense. I take that and pocket that. All right. And,
I think just to be safe, you should mark that as -1 gold for the party right now.
Let's do that for
Yeah.
If we're ever down to plus or minus 1 gold for a project, we're in pretty bad shape anyway.
It's not that far off.
So you're fighting a cult trying to take over the world with a
cults. 4 cults.
4 cults. I mean, does that make it easier or harder with 4 of them? Are they cooperating?
The barbecue cult is, I think, fighting with the damp cult, but the flappy cult, I'm not sure who they're aligned with, but they keep like dropping in on us and flying off, and we haven't found their nest yet. We've heard about it and we've planned to go there. But we've not found the flappy cult, but we've killed many of them. It's not like it's a pointless battle. There are many of them that are dead. The water cult, we have decimated the water cult. We've stolen their sharp things. We've even got the head of one of them somewhere here.
I left it in the cave.
I just suddenly realized, you know what the hardest part of this is going to be? Convincing anyone to join you guys.
Well, especially if you let me do it.
Let anyone do it. Like...
You're the face of the party currently, Kevin.
Yeah.
So Sniven has been drinking alongside Dolphidius this whole time.
Wait, Sniven's here. Sniven convinced him.
But he went off drinking with Dolphin, but he's just been putting way more back, and it's just been absolutely fine. As the conversation develops, he's just like gently patting Dolphin on the head every so often, like silly barbarian.
Look, here's one of our retired members. Why don't you explain to this guy the perks of the business? Now, I understand, rogue. You're a rogue. You've probably been, cleaning people's latrines and things like that for the past 15 years. But adventuring can be quite fun and rewarding.
Which of you
and
is the leader?
I want to show the rogue my cloak of protection, which is very precious and valuable and clearly high quality, and also my boots.
All right. As he does that, I take that as him trying to introduce himself, and I offer my hand and say, "I'm Eldon." And
sorry, how do
you must
pronounce
be
that?
Eldrin. You must be Chakolth, judging from your.
Do I know Eldrin? As an elf, I assume we all know each other.
Like all Canadians.
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Are you a high elf too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I look down at you
I don't
a little
think
bit,
that's quite. I mean, yeah.
and I shake your hand. G'day. Oh, I wish I was Chakolth. Now, there was a strong man, a pragmatic man who would have wanted me to have his cloak of protection. No, my name is Tim.
Tim. And I ask him his tribe and where he's from, because I recognize him. And I see you're...
Yeah, I don't like them anymore. Best not to talk about that.
So you're not Chakolth?
No, I'm not Chakolth. Chok was a party member of ours, killed by the barbarian you see over there. Bit of an awkward business.
This one here?
Yeah. Yeah, stabbed him 17, 18 times.
I take one of the knives on the table
But
and
it
I
was
start
for a good
stabbing
reason.
the table.
We were saving him when we stabbed him. It was for a good reason. Let's not get hasty.
And he was awake, and the barbarian did it from the front. It was honorable.
So, don't think ill of us. That was, he insisted, really.
I guess I would insight check that if I could to get some sense of what the fuck is going on.
I kind of stab like a heart shape into the table as I'm stabbing it.
I mean, whatever they say that is true is true.
I actually don't believe my own read
You're
on this.
shocked.
I'm just like, these are incredible liars. They keep an amazingly
Right.
straight face as they're doing this. So, so putting it together, if I'm getting this correct, you're fighting 4 ludicrously named cults that are trying to take over the world. You're
Or
doing that
destroy it.
from a bar here in Waterdeep, having killed your own party member and stolen his stuff.
Well, we killed our party member, and now we need a new one. So we were looking to recruit a rogue. And so I just sort of yelled, "Are there any rogues here?" And then you tried to hide, but you weren't very good at it. Which actually works pretty well for us. We're not looking for a great rogue. If you could just go ahead of the party and then get...
At that point, I yell out, "Good prize!"
You're doing so well, Steve. I like how the campaign has now got so preposterous, even people can't play their own characters.
The good news is you'll be saving the world, and do you actually use that crossbow?
Yeah.
What about a
This
crash
reminds
course?
Eldrin, you said your name was?
Correct.
You remind me of Darby. He dropped his crossbow and shot the birthday boy to death, right? Nobody in that village eats cakes to this day because of Darby. Crossbows are horrendous weapons.
So I remember ex-girlfriends, and Thaddeus remembers villages where nobody eats cake.
I am definitely at this point looking for an exit strategy from the table.
No. Don't run away. Let's test you in combat, and you can work with the party, and we'll see how we work together. There's got to be an arena here somewhere, right? Did want to pay to see adventurers showing off their skills.
Well,
Wait, why are we?
I want to
doing
look
that?
in the phone book again.
Okay.
Are there any like arenas
Can
where
you roll
you
a D100?
do I get any sense of the wealth of this party? Like, are they still talking to Sniven as the 8,000 gold goblin or anything like
You
this?
wanna roll perception?
Sure.
So this time you
heard us
actually
come into the bar yelling that.
this time you actually go to where the sort of directory is kept rather than using your own parchment that you'd written, and you take the book out and you see there's like a listing of what is it you're looking for, like an arena, was it?
Yeah, like laser tag, except for adventurers and its actual combat.
Sure.
Yes, of course there is.
Big city.
It's
Sure.
Waterdeep.
Yeah.
So there's the Field of Triumph, which is a large outdoor stadium located in the Seaward, and you could definitely go there because they have lots of public spectacles like fighting, racing, shows of magic, illusion, martial displays of formation and skill. This is like all in like a sort of small sort of blurb.
All right, I'm gonna wake Dolphidius up.
And I say, it sounds boring.
Shut up, Dolphidius. You're asleep. Let's go.
Eldrin, you can see there's a lot of magical items definitely that they're carrying. So you can sort of notice like the hammer that Thaddeus has is very profound in its design and is maybe glowing slightly. You can definitely see that they're wearing the cloaks they've just got. I think Steve, your weapons are both enchanted, so they both glow slightly.
All right. Well, I will internally kind of weigh.
I crit a bird as I walk out the
mention
door.
anything about me. Hold on. What does he notice about me in regards to my wealth?
Yeah, seriously.
So what?
You kind of skipped over me.
Sorry, Dolphin. What items is your guys got again?
You just got a shield.
I've got some half plate. I've got a shield. I've got the cloak of protection now. I've got a pearl of power, which might not be me. It's in my bag of rocks.
It's a small pearl.
But currently I'm wearing what is probably a heavily dirtied cloak covered in rat.
You see like a disheveled, lightning burnt kind of set of clothes over the top.
And I asked for clarification of who the newest party member is for them.
He's holding a shield that has a glow around it and a detailed, ornate set of circles that go around the edges. And in the center is a bright dolphin erupting out of water. And there's a cloak that lines his back that goes all the way down as it would need to be for whatever length.
When Eldrin asks who the newest guy is, I go, new guy.
I thought you gave him one.
All three of us have cloak of protection. Do they like match? Do we have like a team logo or anything?
Oh, please.
They all say Chakolth on them.
They'll have whatever you want. Because because you sent snippets together, they can be designed in whatever way. So if you guys want to have like that, you can have that.
Okay. So
Thaddeus found his, didn't he?
Yeah.
He found yours in a dungeon, Kevin.
Right, but you could easily.
We could have just based ours on that pattern, though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So it probably looks like some sort of ancient dwarven pattern.
Yeah, like scripts.
The good news is that you can join our party much easier than the barbarian did. He had to be raped by a hag for several weeks before he got to join.
And I pat him on the shoulder. It's very kind of like, that's rough, man. That's a tough initiation. I hope that's not.
I repeat, new guy. And then I point at him and I go, new guy.
I internally am weighing this, and it's like down on my luck, real low funds, not really sure where my next job's coming from yet. Don't really want to burn all my bridges in Waterdeep by getting fucked over by the guards here versus what is clearly the most insane group of individuals I've ever encountered who seem to both kill their own party members and simultaneously put them in situations worse than death. And
it's a tough choice.
Whiteness.
Come, Eldrin, how can I help sway your opinion?
Yeah,
your tarnished soul can be saved through this endeavor.
I was just waiting to see where that was going. So you're a man of a god of some sort?
Me and Thaddeus here are both disciples of Moradin.
The All-Father.
Yeah, strong fucker.
Well, you've caught me at an odd time in my life. Maybe we should go to this fighting pit and see what you're made of. See if I have a chance of surviving this. That would be kind of what I'd be looking to see going into this.
Wait, you're hoping to get into are we fighting against you or with you?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see what they offer, eh?
I shrug when I hear that.
If it's like normal, it'll be both, won't it?
A complex set of individuals you guys seem to be. Yeah, I guess, I got a couple hours to spare. We could head up there and at least see how that goes. Especially if you stop shouting rogue in a room like this. It's not what I like. Not comfortable with that. Don't want to be the center of attention.
I nodded my head.
All right. Should we cut the part here? And then, okay.
Sure.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in just a minute.